this is as real as it gets.
This is Nash Gruner, the son of Olivia Gruner, and you are listening to the UCW radio show, In Your Face.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
You're listening to UCW Radio.
In Your Face.
Give it to me, baby.
All right, welcome back to the UCW radio show. Thank you for joining us, and we have another great guest lined up for today. Before we bring her on, I want to remind you that you can listen to all the UCW radio episodes at ucwmagazine.com. You can read the profiles of our guests, learn a little more about them, and how about getting inspired, because that's what we do here. Our guests are inspirational in their own way. But I also want to say this. If you're into fitness, bodybuilding, health, wellness, yoga, whatever you're into, for healthy cooking, I want you to check out celebrity chef Gavin Murphy at at healthyirishman.com. And you probably caught him on Bar Rescue or had some of his healthy eats at some posh party in L.A. His recipes are, I mean, I can't even compare them to anyone. If you want healthy recipes, healthy cooking, healthy living, this is the guy you want to check out. He was just featured in Muscle and Fitness this past month, but you can go to his website and find out more. And if you're in LA, you know, it probably wouldn't be a bad thing for you to hire him to prepare some of your meals. And also, make sure to check out Super Rich on CNBC. And this is where you will take a sneak peek, or maybe just a peek if you want to be like a little peeping Tom. You take a little peek into the lives of the uber, super duper wealthy. It's a wild ride. I love the show. Great producers behind it. They feature some amazing things, and you know, some of this stuff may inspire you to want a little more out of your life. But yeah, definitely worth a watch on CNBC. You can find out when it's on. Just go to cnbc.com and check it out. And also take time to show your support for a true warrior. She's a Wonder Woman in every sense of the word, Lynn Tilton. She's a good friend, and she's the epitome of the American dream. She built an empire from nothing. She created close to 700,000 jobs in the United States from inception. She kept Americans working. She kept manufacturing in America. She kept companies from going out of business. She saved a lot of families. But I would urge you to find out more by going to sheforall.com, and you can find out what's going on with her and her the latest coming from Lynn Tilton. And with that said, you know, I think it's time for us to bring our guest on. She's a recording artist. We had her on a few years ago, and we're bringing her on again because she has so many amazing things going on. So join me in welcoming recording artist Alexx Calise to the UCW radio show. Alexx, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm fantastic, sir. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. You know, last time, we haven't had you on in a few years, and I know that you have a lot of stuff going on. That's why I was intent on bringing you on, because when we last left you, I think you were working on, or you had this song "Pull It Bullet" that was coming out. Then you were doing something with Lifetime, a reality show, and then yeah, you know, tell us what's going on with you now.
Oh my gosh! Well, I mean that was a very very long time ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago. I know.
Yeah. It's like, you know, actually, I just turned 30, so that's a big development. It was kind of a scary development, but it was, you know, I'm kind of you know, I'm in a good place now. I think I've come quite a ways from, you know, where I was the past few years. You know, I've had a lot of recent successes, like, you know, for example, I had a song called Cry that did really, really well on this Lifetime show, actually. and ended up amassing well over like 2 million hits on YouTube. It was a party favorite, or not party favorite, but a favorite on the actual show. And then I even had some more songs on the particular show. The official video for Cry, which was a ballad that really hit, I ended up bringing in one of the little girls from the show to actually dance in the video.
Okay.
So that was awesome. I'm recording actually some new material with my other band with Dennis Morehouse, Sound of Cancer. We're doing some new stuff with that project. So, and I just finished a new record with my solo project. So, a lot of new developments, a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, and you evolved with your music because, I think we had you, it must have been about, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago, especially if you're talking Bullet, so.
Yeah, well, for me, time just flies, so sometimes I have no concept of time, like a dog.
Right, no, I feel you on that, and it just gets faster and faster the older you get, unfortunately.
Sure. So you're recording. You're recording your new music, but your music evolved from back then until now. It's just a little bit different. Tell us about that evolution.
Well, I mean, it's just one can only hope that you would evolve, and hopefully for the better. I've gone through a lot in the past few years. For example, I mean, like a lot of triumphs and tragedies, obviously. My brother passed away a number of years ago, so that that really flipped things on its head, and really changed my life, and influenced a lot of music. And the stylistically where I went, and I've had a lot of successes too, like with the whole Lifetime deal, and, having a lot of songs and shows and films and stuff like that. But, my experiences have really, just changed me, and obviously, helped me to evolve. And, as the years have gone on, like my style, has gotten a little bit different. I've worked with some different producers, and, like now I'm getting to a point where, I don't want to say I'm going in the adult contemporary direction necessarily, but, I am getting older, and I'm, my music is kind of shifting in that direction too. It's, it still has like a youthful vibe and everything, obviously, but, I think it's starting to reflect it, just that I am getting older and more experienced, and I think you hear that a lot in the lyrical content of the new stuff, and the style of it too.
Firstly, let me give you my condolences in regards to your brother.
Oh, thank you.
That's tough stuff. And as far as you say you're getting older, let's scratch that. You're evolving. We'll just call it an evolution.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like a doom and gloom situation or anything of that nature, but evolving, as a human being, obviously,
Well, you're evolving as a human being. You're evolving as a musician, and again, your music has changed. And you said you were recording with a new band, right? New group.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've had the project for a number of years, but actually, a lot of stuff got put on hold because it was the music that I was doing was with my now ex. We were together at the time. Mm-hmm. We broke up, so, it kind of put things on hold, but actually now everything's cool, we're best friends, and we're just, we just did a new photo shoot for this, new album that we're writing, and, everything's copacetic at this point, and, we're just kind of taking it day by day, and, just seeing where it goes.
See, that's tough in the music business when you're in a relationship and you're making music together and things don't work out with the relationship. You kind of still, it's like having a child. You're still kind of stuck together.
Yeah. So, I mean, we didn't pursue anything. The record came out and we ended up breaking up, and, my career was kind of taking off, so it had to take a back seat, but, we've just always had such amazing musical chemistry, Dennis Morehouse and I, and we just thought it was worth it to come back together for the musical musically speaking, and finish what we started, because it's just good. It's really good music, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dennis is not a ridiculous guy, you know. So, you know, when it comes to your art and your personal, you have to separate the two. And
absolutely.
And this is what you guys have to do here, because again, I go back to saying that it's your child, and it is, because when you create something, you just created it. So now, if things don't work out with your, relationship wise, you still have to nurture that because it's there. And to see it die out would be like, it would kill the both of you. There's no doubt it would have killed the both of you.
Absolutely, and we actually have. It's funny, we have a cat together too, and like he still considers it his kitty son.
Yeah.
We have joint kitty custody. Like it's all good. Like everything's copacetic at this point, but we just really found that we've always had amazing musical chemistry together, and it would just be such a waste if we didn't try to nurture that again.
It's called maturity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, again,
absolutely.
As you said, you evolved musically, you evolved personally, and I'm glad that you guys were able to actually, work this out so you can get this music out, because some of the stuff that you've done with together, got you moving in the right direction. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So now, tell us what's going on with the new stuff that you're making, the new music.
I actually just literally finished recording my new solo record, so it'll be technically, oh my gosh, how many albums have I had out now? Quite a few.
Yeah.
So, and this one was done with Warren Pewerks, and Warren has worked with The Fray, Aerosmith, James Blunt, a whole bunch of heavy hitters, so very super ultra talented guy. And the record is just awesome. The songwriting is, I think, really great. We co-wrote most all the songs on the record, and I think that it's got a really good chance, especially with licensing. Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of the songs would be great for commercials, film, TV. And that's really what we wanted to do, was create a record where we could just license the crap out of it,
Well, I mean, that's smart, though, because, that's smart business, because a lot of people, they want to make music, and I get it, but you're thinking, because you've been through it, so it's like you're thinking, okay, we want to make this music, how can we get the most bang for our buck, but also putting out a quality product?
Absolutely, because the fact of the matter is, you could sit in your room and be artistic all day long by yourself. But at the end of the day, it's there has to be some kind of return on it, and it's not to say that I write purposefully all the time. It's not that kind of thing, because I music is not a choice for me. It's something that I just am a musician, and it's kind of like my blessing, my curse. Mm-hmm. But it's always good to have that in the back of your mind and be mindful and think like, okay, maybe we could steer it in this direction, like, this would be good for licensing purposes, or, it's always good to be at least mindful of that kind of stuff. It's not to say that you have to write with that in mind, but it's definitely, good to have it in the back of your head.
Yeah, well, look, we're being real here, and I appreciate that, because you have a lot of musicians recording artists, musicians that I come across, and they're making their music. Meanwhile, they're living in their parents' basement, and they're making their music. They want to stick to what's natural for them, or what they believe in. Yeah, that's all well and good, but you know what? You can't be in your 40s living in your parents' basement. It doesn't work, man.
No, no.
So,
I mean, yeah, absolutely. And thankfully, and I feel very lucky to say this, but I'm able to support myself as a musician, just writing original music, which is great, and sometimes I do custom tailor for different campaigns or what have you, but, I want to keep it that way. If I'm going to be doing this, I want it to be something that I can support myself with. It's just, I'm not a kid anymore. It's not, it's not a hobby to me. This is something that I choose to do professionally. So you you have to kind of be mindful of those things.
Mm-hmm. And when you started out, and we're going to go back to our original interview, and when you started out, you weren't. Right now, you're living in California, but you started out in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and
yes.
Give some broad strokes so that we can refresh the memory of our listeners that probably haven't heard that first interview.
Well, I was born in Staten Island, New York, but I spent my formative years in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And I actually started working with one of my producers, Luigi Gonzalez, while I was still in Florida. He was introduced to me by a former manager of mine. And I just came out to LA for, I want to say, like 2 weeks or something to just, record some demos with Luigi Gonzalez, which is his name. We just found that we really gelled. And then I said to my manager, I'm like, hey, I want to spend some time out in LA. So, I flew back over there for about like 6 months and, did some more recording, was feeling it out around there. Went back home to Florida, and then, I got a call from my producer saying, hey, what the hell are you doing back in Florida? Like, you need to be out here. So, I just kind of like picked up and I had about like $200 in my bank account and moved out to LA. The rest is history.
Yeah, but that you took a big risk at that point because you didn't really know what was going to happen.
No, not at all. Yes. I didn't know anybody.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of taking risk and rolling the dice because you don't know what's going to happen. But the reality is, you believed in yourself, Alexx. You believed in yourself. Well,
yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Maybe it's not, or at least I believe in what I do. That's one thing I am confident about. Is music. So I figured, and you know what? Like the risk taking never stops. I mean, I take risks literally every single day. Or anytime I record an album, I'll spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in the production of it, and it's a total crapshoot. I mean, I know I write quality products, but at the end of the day, it's like, is it going to get into the right person's hands? Is it, going to make it into the right show? Is it going to, get the airtime that it needs in order to be successful? So every day is literally a crapshoot. I never know what's going to happen, which is actually a really terrible thing and a really great thing, Well,
I mean, it's terrible because you don't know what's going to happen next, but it's good because you don't know what's going to happen next. So,
exactly.
But it becomes an exciting journey, and I talk about this all the time that too many people focus on the end game where you should be focusing on the journey and enjoy the process. And you've been enjoying the process over the years.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I put on a good front.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've definitely learned over the years that it's all about the journey, I think that goes for not just, a career in entertainment, but just in general, If you don't enjoy the journey, what's the point?
Yeah, and look,
because what if you actually, oh, sorry?
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, what happens when you actually do attain that goal, and you haven't been enjoying the journey, it's just going to feel empty when you actually get there.
No, and then that's the whole point, because when the journey, that's the story. The end result is the end. That's it. You got there. So, but even the good and the bad, everything that you've been through over the years, this is all a part of the tapestry, which is you. These are chapters in your book that at some point, hey, it may be a book, but when you write your music, still, I mean, this is all a part of you coming out. And that's what makes it an amazing journey. Because I know, and I know your journey from the time that you came on the show initially till now. And that's why I wanted to bring you back on, because you're embarking on something that's going to be really amazing. And I want to get you before you get too big, and then you're not going to talk to me anymore.
No, that's impossible. That would never happen.
So.
Yeah, but.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, it's been kind of an incredible journey, because even beyond music, I've done some really cool things with acting. Like, I've been in some, Guitar Center commercials, or some Nissan commercials. as a musician. Been on game shows. I've just done some weird shit out here, and it's been really, really fun. And, sometimes I have to pinch myself, like, is this actually happening? Especially like, when I've performed on like major TV networks and stuff, like my own original music. I remember when I was playing on Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition, I was playing my song Survive, and, the little girl, Maddie, from the show was dancing to it, and I'm like, how the hell did I get here? This is crazy,
Well, it's pretty cool because you're making your music, you're going on your journey, you're actually developing everything, and things, when you roll that dice, things just kind of fall into place sometimes. Because that's what happens, and that's what happened with you, But still, having that thought in your mind, like, wow, how did I get here? That's pretty cool because everything that happens after that is a bonus.
Absolutely, and I've had to learn that. Sometimes you spend so much time trying to get there, wherever there may be. Mm-hmm. And then you forget all you had to do and all the cool things that, the cool people you came across, or, how cool the actual process was recording the record or doing whatever it may have been, and you just can't forget those things, because that may be all that you ever get,
Well, and that's true, because if people take for granted the talent they have, and they don't put the work in. Sometimes they put the work in, but it's the wrong type of work. At least I know with you and other artists that are like you, that take the risk, they believe in themselves, but they put the work in, but they put the work in the right way to produce something that can get in front of people. Because how sad is it to make music and no one hears it?
It's very sad.
I mean, that's like making a painting, a Picasso type of thing, and putting it in your basement. Nobody ever sees it. That's sad.
It is, and there are so many talented people that actually do have good songs, and they just don't know the proper way to market, and you can't fault them for that necessarily, because not everyone's good at that. Mm-hmm. And that's the unfortunate part about it, especially the way the industry is set up now. There's no such thing as artist development anymore. You have to completely have your shit together, because no one's going to sit there and develop you anymore.
Yeah, and
you have to figure it all out for yourself.
Yeah, that's true. And then egos have to be hung up, because a lot of issues, this with musicians and recording artists, that when they think that they're too good for a thing, okay, you let your ego get in the way. You gotta let that stuff go, man, because if not, you're going to hit a brick wall, because you're not willing to do whatever it takes to get to where you want to get to. You have to do whatever it takes. And I've come across musicians like that, and I laugh. Like, you get that ego. I hope it serves you well while you're bagging at the Stop and Shop. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, and there's always something to be learned. When you stop learning, you stop growing, and you have to be able to get over yourself, and that's kind of a maturity thing too. And you really have to let it go, because a lot of people are not successful too, because they do let their egos get in the way.
Yeah. And that happens more often than not, and that's why I wanted to bring that up on the show while you're here, because I want the listeners, especially if you're a musician, hear this stuff, because this is going to help you. This is going to help you to kind of break out of that shell that you bury yourself in. You got to let loose. But what we're going to do, Alex, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to listen to your song. So you know what? As we go, we're going into the break, but I'm going to let you bring us into the break and introduce your new song.
All right. Well, I'm sorry?
Go right ahead.
All right, well, here is my new song. It's called End of the World, and it's produced by Warren Hewitt, and I hope you guys really enjoy it.
And here we go.
Counting down from 10, I'm saying my prayers, thinking of the things I would have done, yeah, I could have done, should have done. What a trip it's been.
welcome back to the UCW radio show, and that was End of the World by Alexx Calise, and we're back with Alexx Calise. Alex, that was a great song.
Thank you.
All right, so now that we have a good idea of what you're cranking out nowadays, tell us about, this is the first time people are hearing this song, right?
Yeah, this is actually the very first time that anyone has heard it. I haven't showed it to anybody, so yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed it.
Nice. See, we're special. We're special over
Very
here.
special. See, I always think of you.
Yeah, you do, and I appreciate that. But this is good stuff. If this is an example of what you have coming out, wow, you're gonna be hitting some high notes, and I think it's gonna happen sooner than later.
Well, thank you. I certainly hope so.
Yeah. How long did it take you to make this particular album?
It took about a year. It's not to say that we were in there every single day of that year doing it, but yeah, about a good year to write it and really perfect it. And he's a pretty busy guy, Warren, because he has a lot of major label stuff as well. So he's hard to pin down sometimes, or not pin down, but to get together with, just because he's in pretty high demand, and rightfully so. He's pretty rockin'. So
he's a big shot. He's a big to do.
He is a big shot. Yeah, and he's awesome too. He's got like a cool British accent. He's just all around awesome.
Oh, there you go, Warren, making things happen, buddy. Making sure you have your tea time too. I like it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's good when you're able to work with a veteran, because they can offer you insight that you can't get with someone that you're actually building up with on the same level. Because it gives you a different view.
Oh yeah. It was a very different experience in that he is such a pro, and he just cranks stuff out. Not only that, but he's like a fantastic guitar player. I just felt that every day that I was in there that I was just getting schooled, in a good way, in a positive way. It's just amazing, like between him and his engineer, Sam Martin, like they're just really super fast and efficient in the studio, and, I just had a really fun time learning and writing with him, and he's got an incredible sense of melody. Which I really dig, because you can never have too much melody, and I'm a huge melody person myself. So, and he's a big dork like I am. So, we were just nerding out about, we were both like Alien fans. The Alien movie series, we were talking about that, and a bunch of cool nerdy films and stuff like that. So, we just had a good time, and we were laughing most of the time, and just all around having a fantastic experience. So
well, that's what it's about, and if you get along with someone, you can have those moments, and everybody loves Aliens. Come on. Aliens, comic book, stuff like that. We're all nerds in our own way, I guess.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just in my house alone, I have, I don't know how many different action figures I have from the movie.
Nice.
It's really nerdy, especially for a chick, but I'm a huge fan of it. So
well, let me tell you something. You just probably made the day of probably like 1 million fanboys across this planet just now.
Probably.
Because that right there, to have a girl that has the action figures and that's that's digging the aliens and the Comic-Con type of thing. Forget about it. These guys they're sitting in front of their computer right now. They're listening to the show. They're like, ooh, wow. I'm a fan.
Well, yeah. Well, not to mention I have like a kids party company, which I started a few years ago to support myself while I was out here. But we have over like 100 different costumes.
Oh, wow.
Like we do the kids' birthday parties and stuff like that. So it's actually come in handy too for acting purposes when I do acting stuff. I've actually gotten roles just based on the fact that I have every frickin' costume you can think of.
Nice. Well, let's see.
Yeah. So
and I'm glad you brought that up, because you have to be able to support yourself while you're doing your music. But you're a hustler. You've become an entrepreneur. You're a musician, entrepreneur, and you're making things happen. And at any given time, Alex, during the rough times, you could have quit this business. You could have hung it up easily and went back home. But you didn't.
Right. Right.
Now, why do you feel that you didn't do it, that you didn't just give up?
Well, firstly, it's just not in my nature. And, like I told you before, being a musician is not a choice. Mm-hmm. It really isn't, because, I think I'm fairly smart enough that I could be doing something else and making a shitload of money, a lot more money than I am now. I mean, I have that kind of mind where I like to start things, like to create things and, starting my own businesses and doing all this stuff. I'm business-minded, mm-hmm. But since I have such a passion for music, and producing my own, that, it's not something that necessarily, you don't always reap the financial benefits from that. But it's because it's a passion of mine. It's what I choose to pursue 100%. It's a labor of love.
Well, you put the work in, but also you're being smart about it as you're going along. Because when you first started, again, you loved music, but you really didn't know how you were going to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's the scary part of stuff when it comes to music. Is, I mean, if you're in Hollywood, you're an actor. You can go find bit parts here and there and kind of wait tables and do something to make money. Okay, when you're a musician, and you have to create the music and do that stuff, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. Right.
Yeah, that's why, I am actually, thankfully, I'm making money with my music now, but the kids' party company that I have is supplementary. Mm-hmm. It's something that's always going to be there if I want it to be. And it's just great because I actually don't, all I do at this point, and I have a business partner as well, and we just manage the company at this point, and we have other people that, the performers that go off and do the events themselves, so it's a freaking fantastic situation. Yeah. That, it took many, many years to get to that point, but, it kind of runs itself at this point. We'll schedule everything, but, and make sure everything goes smoothly, but for all intents and purposes, I don't have to be there. I don't have to oversee anything.
And I have a feeling that even if you, or not if, but when you make it big, you're still going to have that company.
Well, yeah, it's like my baby, yeah. It was the first thing that I've ever, done that I just, like my music, obviously, I grew from nothing, but mm-hmm. This too, I started it with 3 costumes and $300, and now I don't want to say what it grosses every year, but it's a successful company, and we were just on the Ellen show
nice.
A few months ago, which was great, and we did a skit for the Ellen show, and we've done some other really cool stuff too with television. Mm-hmm. So I'm very proud of it, and I'd eventually maybe like to franchise it one day, and mm-hmm. Maybe work exclusively with some of these licensed companies and everything, and be like the official characters of for every birthday party.
Be the official characters for the Minions. Get some Minion stuff going on.
Well, we can't say stuff like that.
but the thing is, this is why you and I get along, because I see what you're doing and you have that drive, and I love that because you don't let anything get in your way. And if you are taking a path and you want to get there, you'll create another path just so you can go and bring yourself to where you want to go. And you doing this. And you started this company when you hit a little bit after you hit LA, I guess, because you did this. This had to be after we did our last show.
It could have been, or it could have been in the infant stages at the time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I started it quite a while ago. Yeah. And it's been great.
I think that's fantastic. Do you want to give the information for that company or no?
Sure. It's for the most part, it's just limited to the LA area. But if you happen to live in LA, the company is called Inkabink Kids Party Entertainment. It's INKABINK, Inkabink Kids. You can find us if you just Google us. So you'll find us on Yelp, We have a Facebook page as well. And I don't know if you want me to give the number for it, but you're happy to say I'm happy to do that.
Go right ahead.
Okay, well, if you live in SoCal, give us a call, 818-533-1386. It's 5331-FUN.
Oh, there you go. See, incubate.
Yeah.
No, I dig that because, again, it just shows the type of person you are and you're driven. And I want people to know that, just because you're on one path doesn't mean that you can't take another road in order to support yourself so you can get to where you need to get to. Some people, especially in music, they feel that that's all I have to do is music. That's all I can do. No. I mean, wake up. This is not 1950. You got to do something else. You got to hustle. You got to make stuff happen.
Well, yeah, in this day and age, I mean, nobody, unless you're in that top, 1 percentile, is just doing that. I mean, even, you see Beyonce. She's got 50,000 other things that she does, too, aside from music.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to.
It's a business. It's a business. And if you treat yourself as a brand, then you're gonna expand everything, because you mentioned Beyonce, J-Lo, all these other musicians. They have other things going on. Look at Pitbull. He's a hustler on top of a hustler, and he's making stuff happen because it's not just the music. The music is a vehicle to get other things done. And
absolutely,
yeah.
Especially the way things are going with the illegal downloading and stuff. I mean, that I don't know how much of a problem that necessarily is anymore, just because everything is streamable at this point. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the whole model, the music model, the business model has completely shifted. Mm-hmm. And there's not really a lot to be made from sales anymore. So it's out of complete necessity. You have to do something else. No. If you don't, I mean, you're just going to be living in your parents' basement, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. And it happens, But see, what you're doing, and I hope that, again, if you're a musician, you're listening to the show, I hope that you're taking some notes here, because what you're doing, you're creating ancillary components to your music. You're taking your music, you love what you do, you want to keep doing it. However, you're doing other things to first support it. Second, you're doing things on top of there so you can branch out, like you said, the TV shows and all the other things, movies, things like that. You're branching out so that you can get your music out there, use that, get it out there as much as possible, but also do other things, because you take your music, you put it into a movie, and you don't know what can happen there, because then all of a sudden, then you're in a movie, then you're doing another movie, now you're doing acting, now you're doing TV commercials, you're doing this, you're doing that, and you as a brand start to expand a little further.
Well, yeah, because you have to be able to brand yourself, and you just never know. I mean, I can't say what show I was on, or I can't really say too much about it. But my friend Dennis and I were just on a show, and they ended up mentioning our band name 3 or 4 different times in the show. We didn't even ask them to do it, but since we were band members, they thought it was a really cool thing, because usually the people that they bring on are just I don't want to say everyday Joes, but just normal people that have normal jobs. But when we came on the show, they really ran with it. They're like, that's cool that you guys are in a band together and you're actually ex-boyfriend and ex-girlfriend, but you're best friends. They thought it was really cool. So they ended up really digging our story and talking about us as a band and mentioning our name. So I mean, it hasn't aired yet, but when and if it does, it'll be great promotion. I mean, it's on a major network, so you never know what could come of that. And, my friend Dennis, he was kind of apprehensive at first about doing it. He's like, that's not really my scene, I don't know if I want to do it. But I'm like, hey, you know what, just let, and, to his credit, he's like, cool, maybe I'll just, let go and do something that, I wouldn't normally do and see where it takes me. And here we are now,
See, Dennis, you listen to Alex, and look at you now. You do that a little more often, buddy, and then you know what? All of a sudden, boom, bat, bing. You get something. You have to think outside of the box, and you got. Right. The more uncomfortable you are doing something, sometimes magic happens because you're out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's when you're not doing when you're doing something that's out of your comfort zone. Actually, it's there's something kind of cool about it. It's kind of enthralling and exciting, and it's. I've been doing a lot of things like that lately. Just saying yes to opportunities, whether or not it's something that is like 100% my scene, and I've actually had a lot of fun.
But you're enjoying the journey, and that's the beauty of the whole thing. And just kind of stepping outside of the box and putting yourself in just out of your comfort zone, you start seeing things just a little bit differently. And then, as you said, you start meeting different people, and you never know where those relationships will lead. You never know who knows who or what. Then all of a sudden you're in front of someone, and boom, and the rest is history. It happens.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And can I give a little bit of advice when it comes to that?
Definitely.
I was going to say that you should just obviously as a human being you should always be nice to everybody, anyways, because there's no reason to be anything but that. But you just never know who you're going to run into, and especially out here in LA. I mean, I've been to the shittiest, dankiest bars ever out here, and a lot of people that are in the industry frequent those kinds of places because they don't want to necessarily go to those, the beauty bars of LA. A lot of people, in the valley happen to be in the industry and they just want to go to their local watering hole. And you could be sitting next to the head of frickin', Epic Records. You just never know who you're going to meet out here. Mm-hmm. So be nice to everybody. Don't ever dismiss anyone, ever.
And that's good advice, because you got to treat everyone the way you want to be treated, and you treat everyone with respect. And you know what? You never know what can happen. And even if they're not some famous, person that can do something for you, still treat people with respect. And I like that advice. That's good advice.
Absolutely.
That's beyond music. That's just in general for anyone. Treat everyone with respect. And I mean, that's the way you should live your life anyway. You wake up every day with a smile on your face because you got another day. You got another day to put the work in and get something done. I dig it.
Absolutely.
So you know what I think that we need to do? We need to let our listeners know how to keep on top of your career. Because now, as opposed to, see, and it's funny, and this just kind of, dates the show. When we were doing a show, way back when, what you had the MySpace and everything, and things. What's MySpace?
Right.
Well, what is that now? But now you have more social media, more ways to keep track of your, the fans can keep track of your career. So why don't you give that information, your website and everything else?
Okay. You can find me probably, get me a little more directly through Twitter. I'm always on Twitter. So my handle is @Alexx Calise, and that's Alex with 2 X's, ALEXXCALISE. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube. Just Google me to find me, say hello. I'm usually pretty friendly. Actually, I'm always friendly, but yeah, reach out, say hi, and check out the tunes.
Okay, cool. And then your website, what's your website?
It's alexxcalise.net.
Okay, that I wanted you to say that because it's not .com, it's .net, and we know the thing with the .com. It's a
yes.
.net. Yeah, that problem still hasn't got resolved.
Right, yeah, nothing but net. That's what I like to say now.
I dig it. Nothing but net. All right, cool. So I do urge our listeners, if you want to, get inspired by watching somebody actually go up that ladder, and you're gonna be able to experience it with her. Keep on top of Alexx Calise. Keep on top of what she's doing. Reach out, connect with her, and I think that you're gonna enjoy what she has coming out. Her new series of songs coming out, and you're gonna see a lot of this girl. You're going to see a lot of her on TV, movies, I have no doubt, and that's why she's on this show, because I know where she's going. I knew where she was going way back when, and I know more so now. So call me a psychic. I have my little ball, my little magic ball here. I'm rubbing it, and I see stuff happen. But the thing is,
thank you.
But the thing is, Alexx, that I like how you carry yourself, and you've never been arrogant. You've never, thought that you were too good for a thing. That's why when you have that mindset you're going to do what you need to do to be successful and to do it on your terms. There's nothing better than that. Girl power, right?
Thank you. Well, that's people power, not just
power.
girls, everyone power.
Yeah, it's everyone power. But you know what? In your case, we'll call it girl power because you're tough. You're tough, and you're a native New Yorker. So there you go. That's how we roll.
Yeah, we're all right.
That's what we do. That's what we do. All right. So so our listeners, you guys go out there, go check out Alexx Calise. That's with 2 X's on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. That's alexxcalise.net. Check her website out and definitely support her music and keep an eye out because you never know when you're going to see her, where she's going to pop up. But trust me, you're not going to be disappointed. Alexx, thank you so much for coming on the show. And again, as you know, we're going to bring you on again because your career is just going to keep blowing up and we have to bring you on to get updates.
Well, thank you so much. It was wonderful talking to you again.
No.
Always a pleasure.
It was my pleasure and honor. And for you guys listening, just make sure you join us. We have a lot of great guests coming on the UCW radio show. We have some professional athletes. We have some Olympians. We have actors, action models. We have all types of people coming on the show, but they're all going to inspire you. Trust me. So make sure you join us. Again, Alexx, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Initiating shutdown sequence.
You're listening to UCW Radio. In your face.
What is your major malfunction? So let it be written. So let it be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.